What the hell is going on? Okay, hi everyone. This is my second video of me reading Chapter 10 of Dealing with Dragons. That's a relief, Eleanor said. Why did you insist on staying when it was so obvious that he wanted us to leave? I was afraid he was going to turn us into toads or something. Wanted to see what he was up to, Simrine said. I don't think Antarel is a very good wizard. He probably couldn't manage anything worse than a squirrel. Eleanor did not appear to find this very reassuring. Simrine checked to make sure Antarel was out of sight, then went over to the place where he'd been standing when she peered around the bush. At first she did not notice anything unusual. Then she saw... a purplish plant oozing sap from the places where several of its spiky, sawtooth leaves had been broken off. Look at this. What is it? Eleanor asked. I don't know, Simrine said absently. I saw a couple of other plants like this while we were picking feverfew, but I thought they were just weeds. Maybe it is a weed? A wizard wouldn't sneak into the dragon section of the Mountains of Mourning just to pick weeds. They don't even use herbs to cast spells, so what does Antarel want with this prickly-looking thing? Eleanor shrugged. Maybe he needs it for something he can't do with magic. I wonder what that would be. Simrine reached out and carefully broke off a spray of leaves. She wrapped them in the handkerchief and put the packet in her pocket. Let's see if we can find out whether he picked anything else. Antarel had left a dark trail of bent and broken plants to mark the way he had come, so his path was easy to follow. Simrine and Eleanor searched carefully along for some way, looking for signs that the wizard had picked other herbs, but neither of them saw any. I don't think there's anything to find, Eleanor said, pushing her apricot-colored hair out of her face, and it's getting awfully warm. Have you noticed that there aren't any of those purple plants along here? Simrine said. I thought that was all he wanted. Then let's leave before that wizard thinks to circle around to check on what we're doing, Eleanor urged. Simrine doubted that Antarel would think of doing such a thing, but she nodded agreement, and the two girls left the valley. Eleanor was quiet and thoughtful for most of the walk back to Kazul's cave. Simrine was grateful for the silence. She had a lot to think about herself. From what Antarel had said, it seemed likely that Wrede was helping the wizards somehow, or at least that he had known what Antarel was looking for in the valley. Simrine found it difficult to imagine a dragon helping a wizard, but she couldn't say with certainty that it was impossible. And if Wrede was involved with Antarel and Seminar, it might explain why he'd been so touchy lately. But why? I don't get it. When they arrived back at the cave, Simrine shook herself free of her preoccupation, and she and Eleanor unloaded their baskets and tied the herbs in bunches to hang in a dark corner of the kitchen to dry. How long will it be before I can use the feverfew? Eleanor asked worriedly. I'm not sure, Simrine said in a considering tone. It will take at least a week to dry thoroughly, but you might be able to use it in the spell before then. The directions don't say how dry the feverfew has to be. We could try it every day with a pinch of leaves from one of those bunches if you like. Eleanor nodded. I really do need it. I wonder if it would work without being dried, Simrine said. She pulled a leaf from one of the hanging plants and shredded it carefully between her fingers, then tossed it up in the air and recited the rhyme. There. Now light a candle or a lamp or something. Eleanor had already lit a candle and set it on the table. Oh, gosh. Simrine moved over it and stuck her finger in the flame. I think it's working, she said, and moved the rest of her hand closer. Oh, God. The sleeve of her dress caught fire. Simrine hastily pulled her hand away from the candle and slapped at the flames, while Eleanor snatched up a bucket of water from beside the sink and poured it over Simrine's arm. The fire went out, and so did the candle, and both Simrine and Eleanor got thoroughly soaked. Oh, dear, Eleanor said, ignoring her soggy skirts. Simrine, did you burn yourself? No, Simrine said, looking at her arm with a puzzled expression. I didn't feel a thing. I thought the spell worked but nothing caught fire when we tested it before. It must be because the feverfew is fresh instead of dried, and I had hoped that I'd be able to use it right away. Well, if you're that low on dried feverfew, take some of mine, Simrine offered. Kazul's not particularly irritable. I only need to keep a pinch or two in case of emergencies. Thank you, Eleonora said fervently, and Simrine turned her soggy cuffs back and went to get the bottled spices. There's a mystery afoot, and I don't know what it is. I'm so glad Simrine and Eleanor are friends. Like, it's such a cool relationship. I also just really like friendship. I do. Okay, I'm going to make another video. Keep reading things, because I can.